Hi everyone, welcome back to the Kia Hyundai channel. This is my boss, Mr. Patrick Hart.
Hi guys.
And in today's live stream car review, we're talking about the 2026 Kia Sportage EX Premium. Now we have filmed the EX Premium before, but I don't think we've had a gas model yet. And there's something very unique about this vehicle. It's the fact that while it's not the top trim level, it might just be the best looking trim in the lineup. And hear me out. It's because the top of the line takes on a more off-road-esque, outdoorsy approach. So you'll have a lot of blacked out elements and some plastic cladding around it and just a little bit more, again, ruggedness to it. While this car tends to take things a bit more stylishly, more sleek, more subtle, but very well done. We're doing a full in-depth walkthrough of this car, starting off with the front end, so let's get right into it. I'll mention the price point as well, so that is $41,845 Canadian. And of course, this is a Canadian spec model, so if you are watching from the States or anywhere else, your trim levels may be equipped differently. Let's go. Adam's going to take a hold of the camera, and we'll start off again on the front end. We'll talk lighting as well as design elements and what materials are used for this particular model. So the main headlamp is the same across all models. You'll have a premium projector style LED for your main headlamp, as well as the integrated intelligent high beam assist. Of course, on all of our modern vehicles, we also have automatic headlamps. So if you set it to auto, once it gets dark outside, your proper full headlamp will be running. And then if there's sufficient daylight, it'll just be your DRLs and a small amount of lamp. The DRLs specifically are finished with an amber tone, so they're bold, they're bright, and they add a lot of style to the new Sportage. It's also a major change from last year's, because we got a product refresh for now. Your main grille is finished in gloss black, which creates a nice, shiny look, and it's finished off nicely with a little bit of a silver contrast up at the very top brow. The top brow is actually sandwiched with more gloss black right up above, and then your Kia emblems are finished in a brushed aluminum tone. The paint color we have here today is called Gravity Gray. It's a metallic dark gray paint, and it's one of my absolute favorites across the Kia lineup. But if you are shopping for the refreshed model of the Sportage, I want to let you know we have two new fun colors called Wolf Gray and Heritage Blue. Absolutely stunning. So there's truly a fantastic Sportage color for whatever you're looking for. On the lower portion of your grille, you'll notice we also have fog lamps. Now these are LED fog lamps. Very great to have, especially here in Canada where we got all sorts of weather. So low visibility conditions, they certainly help creating that lower beam of light. Along the lower grille, you'll notice the slats will be horizontal and far more widespread than what we have up at the top. And sandwiched in the very middle, we have our radar plate. Now this radar sensor is utilized for your smart cruise control and also your highway driving assist. This vehicle has both. Highway driving assist is an advancement of the typical smart cruise control, so it'll use all the great things we get in a lesser convenience function, like ability to stop and go traffic and the ability to adjust your following distance. But it'll also know the speed limit of the highway that you're on and if there's any bends in the road, keep you centered in your lane as well as always a safe distance from the car ahead of you. So it's just a more convenient driver assistance function. We also have forward collision avoidance that works in junctions as well as detects pedestrians and cyclists, on top of course, other cars. There's parking sensors along our front bumper. So these circular ultrasonic sensors will provide you with an audible alert inside the cabin when you approach something a little too closely. Very helpful if you do plan on parking this vehicle in a garage, and especially if it's a larger vehicle than your last one. It'll help you get the hang of it. Now let's talk about the windshield real quick before I pop the hood and talk about the powertrain. So our windshield may look like a regular one, and in a way it is. It's easy to see out of, protects your eyes, protects you from the wind. But it is heated as well as acoustically laminated. So what that means is the acoustic lamination will create a quieter cabin experience. You'll get less wind noise, road noise, and just general outside noise. You'll still be able to hear things, of course, like emergency vehicles or someone honking at you, but the cabin experience is a lot more premium. The heated windshield is similar to what most people are familiar with your back window. So it has those small burners running along the glass that will melt snow and ice off the window itself, or the windshield itself. There's also a camera located in the very center, and that camera keeps an eye on everything happening ahead of you. For your lane safety, which is both lane keeping and lane following assistance, as well as the forward collision avoidance systems I mentioned earlier. That little camera does it all. There's also rain sensing wipers on this trim level, so once it does start raining, as long as it's set to auto on your wiper stock, it'll automatically adjust the speed for whatever kind of precipitation you are getting. Works for snow and rain. All right, Let's talk powertrain. It's powertrain time. So for the gas Sportage, straight gas, because again, if you weren't too familiar with the Kia lineup, the Kia Sportage comes with 3 different powertrain options. However, if you're shopping for only gas, all of the available trims will be powered by our 2.5-liter naturally aspirated gasoline engine. Now this utilizes both GDI, which is gasoline direct injection, and MPI, multi-point injection. Both of these fuel delivery systems have their advantages. Now GDI is fantastic for heavier load or high load situations, driving situations, but where GDIs struggle, especially in the past, is under low load. You can have carbon buildup. Carbon buildup is not good for your engine. So that's where MPI came in. It handles most of the low load driving to prevent carbon buildup. And then when you're under high load, GDI swaps over, creates a more efficient driving experience. It's efficient in its power delivery, and of course, you don't get that buildup. For your output, I almost forgot to tell you guys how much power it makes. 187 horsepower with 178 pound-feet of torque. And again, like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter if you get the entry trim or the top trim. If you're shopping for just the straight gasoline Sportage, this will be the power plant powering it all. No more turbo option. Now, your wheels are quite special. I absolutely love this design. It is our 19-inch alloy that is exclusive for our EX Premium. Where I think, again, this vehicle does take style points away from the top trim is the fact that these wheels are contrast or two-tone instead of all black. I know a lot of people love the all black wheel look, but sometimes they kind of get lost in the tire and the wheel well. So with the machine finished elements, brighten it up a little bit, create a little bit more style to the car, at least in my opinion, but let me know what you guys think. The wheel arch is finished in gloss black too, so a nice shiny and more stylish approach compared to something like the plastic we have here on a Kia Niro. What do you guys prefer? Let me know. I will say plastic is a little bit more durable in terms of the long run for road debris getting kicked up. You won't feel bad about scratching the plastic. The paint you might, but this looks better. For our wheels, again, I just want to point out our tires are Michelin tires. They are all seasons mounted onto our vehicles. I do, of course, always recommend getting winter tires because they do truly make a difference. Please do not think that all-wheel drive is all you need to drive through winter. All-wheel drive just helps you drive, doesn't help you brake. That's where it's important. Speaking of brakes, ventilated disc brakes up at the front, they're going to be larger vented brakes. And then along the rear, we have a solid disc brake as well as a multi-link rear suspension. So as far as handling goes, it doesn't handle like a sports car, but it takes bumps, whether it's speed bumps or lovely Ontario roads, quite nicely. And like I mentioned, because we have enhanced sound deadening and a sound deadening windshield, we have a quiet cabin, so it's a very, very great to drive experience. Your transmission is also a highlight in terms of driving because it's an 8-speed regular automatic. No CVT, no IVT, a true torque converter automatic, smooth shifting, and it's reliable, tried and true. Your mirrors are power folding for the first time ever on this generation Sportage. Last year, for 2024, you didn't get that option on any of the trims. The lower portion has a little bit of gloss black, but a majority of it is body color. There's a turn signal indicator mounted right on it, so people next to you and behind you will get an illumination if you are indicating a lane change. And then right on the mirrored portion, you'll notice we have a blind spot detection indicator. That will, of course, light up if there's a vehicle in your blind spot to give you a passive awareness that, you know, someone's there. And if I was actively signaling, we'd also get a beep inside the cabin, so you have the passive visual alert as well as an audible alert too. And of course, brake force to avoid said collision if you do start to merge over while there's a car there. Your handles have proximity entry, so as long as the key is somewhere on you, simply press the button on the door handle to unlock it, and then press it again once you're done driving to lock your car. Along the belt line of the car, we have a satin chrome highlight. This expands all the way to the very rear, and a great highlight about it being satin chrome and not traditional chrome, way more durable for scratches, and true chrome shows everything. If there's a watermark, you're gonna see it. This is a little bit more forgiving and more modern in its styling. The pillars are just regular matte black plastic instead of painted gloss black, which again, for durability, that is fantastic. Those pillars love to show scratches when they are that gloss black material. Only looks nice when it's brand new and shiny. I will be totally honest with that. For your rear wheels, of course, we have that same repeated gloss black arch. And then that transforms along the lower portion of your rear fender and works its way nicely into the bumper. Now the bumper, again, just like our front end, has a nice mix of both dark and light elements, so a good contrast. There's not a lot of plastic or cladding on the rear end like the top of the line X-Line Limited has. And again, the X-Line Limited does that because it's a rugged trim level. Sorry, every time I say rugged, I feel like I have to go like that. It feels like I'm talking about, you know, like a battle tank or something, but it's an SUV, so that's why we got to do that. All right, our tail lamps are a mix of LEDs and traditional bulbs. Absolutely lovely styling design too. These lamps, I think they look fantastic. They have a nice dark housing too, almost giving it that tinted effect without, of course, sacrificing visibility. And then your rear window, also tinted, but we have our heated burners to melt snow and ice off the back window. May look like there's no wiper, but it's actually hidden underneath the spoiler here, which does a great job of cleaning up the look of the rear end. A lot of people don't realize how much of a difference that actually makes, but I feel like all modern cars should start hiding the wipers. It looks so much cleaner. And you don't have to scrape ice off of it come wintertime. You have your high-mounted stop lamp also integrated into that spoiler. And then you'll notice the lining of it is gloss black, and then of course we have the body color right up above. Shark fin antenna is a blacked out one as well. Doesn't change its functionality, still works the same. Sirius XM connection is fantastic until you pull into a building, then it won't work. And then we have our flush style roof rails, also finished in black. Now I will pop the trunk, you guys. I almost forgot to do that, but not gonna do it. Let's talk cargo space. Now the Sportage does a fantastic job at being very people hauler friendly in a way that also allows you to move your stuff with you. So hear me out. The Kia Sorento is technically a larger vehicle than the Sportage, but on most of its trim levels, it's equipped with captain's chairs in the middle. That means if you need to take 5 passengers on your journey, you'll have to put up one of their third row seats and you lose a lot of cargo space. Versus in the Kia Sportage, you can comfortably seat 5 passengers and utilize all of the rear space. So no one's gonna sacrifice the room. You can bring all of your bags. If you're a heavy packer, the smaller car works better. All right, now let's talk about what we actually have over here. Underneath the floorboard, we have a temporary spare tire, a rarity in the modern car world, especially in the smaller SUV segment. It's such great peace of mind knowing you have a proper spare instead of just an inflator kit, because that way if you do experience a tire blowout, you have something you can actually put on your wheel. Can't do that with the inflator kit. Along the side, we have a lamp to illuminate your cargo area when you're fiddling around here at nighttime, and that light is also an LED, so it'll last a lot longer and shine a little brighter. There's a 12 volt on the side, and you may notice we also have handles mounted on each side. Now, the handles will allow you to fold the seats down, and normally they go down all the way, except our front passenger seat is a little too far back. So that was a horrible demonstration. Please still like this video, please. Now we'll close up the lift gate, and I don't know if you guys caught it, but it is powered. The powered lift starts on the EX Premium trim level, and that's kind of just the tip of the iceberg on all of the upgrades we'll get over here. A lot of them will have to do with our seating and our seat comforts. Another look at the rear end before we hop in. Parking sensors mounted along your back bumper. And then we have reverse or rear collision avoidance assist, rear cross traffic collision avoidance assist. So as I'm backing up this vehicle in a busy parking lot, it'll warn me if there's a risk of a collision with someone walking or someone driving up from behind me. Very helpful if you park beside 2 massive vehicles and you can't see what's going on behind you. The gas door is on the driver's side. It hides a 54-liter fuel tank. Only regular unleaded fuel is necessary for this vehicle. And as far as fuel efficiency goes, it's rated at 8.9 liters per 100 kilometers combined, so that is highway and city driving. However, depending on how you drive and your daily drive, you could see it do better or worse. I'll always say or worse. Now, Adam will give a quick pan on the inside before I hop in. I just want to really highlight the seats because there's a bit of an upgrade to them that's nowhere mentioned in the brochure, and that is the suede upper seat back. I think this is absolutely stunning. It gets rid of the negatives of suede while still bringing you the positives. And hear me out, the negatives of suede are if you do spill something or, mess them up, they're a little bit harder to clean than a traditional leather or leatherette seat. So you get that on the upper seat back where you're not necessarily prone to spilling anything. Just don't use any crazy hair products. And it looks good. Now for the seat itself, as you can see, we have plenty of power controls for the height, the backrest, and of course lumbar supports. And with all these controls comes sometimes a fight, especially if you are a multi-driver household. Now you don't have to fight on this car because it has integrated memory seats. Memory seats start on the EX Premium trim, and they're also linked to the mirrors. So because we have power folding mirrors, once I hop in my vehicle, set it to my seat, everything will adjust to my preferences. It looks like there's only 2 saves, but we actually have 6, considering we have 3 different driver profiles, and we have 2 saves per profile. 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6. I went to school. All right, now for our door card, as you can see, we've got our locks, unlocks, and window controls, as well as mirror, with 2 express windows up at the front. And then as far as materials go, we have a little bit of a gunmetal finish for our card that hides or houses your memory seats. And then the handles are a satin chrome. For the EX Premium, you'll also get a deluxe door sill, so adds a little bit more styling to the vehicle, and deluxe pedals. Now the pedals, a little hard to see, it's always so dark over here. You can see they're an alloy pedal. One thing I will say, Kia, please, if you're watching this, listen to us. I would love to see the dead pedal in the same material too, because as you can see, it's just a regular black finish. Right over here in the driver's knee area, we have our electronic parking brake, our traction control, and then our liftgate release, as well as a brightness adjustment. All of those materials we saw on the door card are repeated on the dash, so when the vehicle is in motion and you have your door closed, it flows in perfectly. It is absolutely seamless and it looks so, so good. I'm going to take the camera from Adam to show you guys our steering wheel and gauge cluster, and he can join me over on the passenger side. Now your steering wheel is leather wrapped and heated with 2 different levels of heat. The left-hand side is where you'll find your driver assistance functions. So this top left button is to turn on or off your cruise control, which will automatically go to highway driving assist if you're on the highway. You'll set your speed with the plus and the minus, and then set your following distance with this button here. Drive mode select is mounted right underneath and allows you to put your vehicle in normal, sport, or my drive. A few other buttons I want to just touch on here if the camera will focus a little bit more. There we go. We have this top right button, which changes what's displayed on the gauge cluster. You can see your trip reading since last refueling, since last reset, and also your auto stop. The next cycle will be navigation. It'll show a compass by default, but if you had a route actively set in the nav, it'll actually show you your turn by turn. So you don't really have to take your eyes away from straight ahead of you and look over at the main head unit. It's just right in your line of vision, which is fantastic. And let me just flip this back. We'll keep talking. The next viewpoint is your lane safety, and then we also have an all-wheel drive torque distribution and tire pressure menu. Now I want to talk about the all-wheel drive system for a second, because I think Kia does a really good job with theirs. Their all-wheel drive does have a front-wheel drive bias, which is actually beneficial, because if it's a regular sunny day and you're on dry pavement, there's no need to be powering the rear wheels. That's going to consume more fuel. So the front-wheel drive bias is fantastic, and it'll automatically redistribute torque to the rear if it senses a little bit of slippage or a change in terrain. So if I'm doing my regular driving and then I turn over to a gravel road, I don't have to change anything. My car does it all for me. So very smart car indeed. If I want to change things though, there's a terrain mode select. It's mounted on the right-hand side, and this is standard on all of our Sportage with all-wheel drive models. There's snow mode, mud mode, and sand mode, and with each click of this button, it'll cycle to the next. As you can see, when I've selected sand or mud mode, it changes a few more things than the typical snow, and that is because sand and mud are a full 50-50 torque split. That means 50% power, or half the power to the front, half to the rear. Definitely meant for more lower speed driving, and of course if you're in actual muddy or sandy conditions. I do not recommend using this on a regular road. Not good for your drivetrain. Snow mode is a bit more gentle, with it being largely an 80 to 20% split that can drop down to 50-50. It'll drop it down itself if it needs to, if you're stuck. Now, do you have to put your vehicle in these terrain modes? Not necessarily. The vehicle's straight system will adjust automatically, but this is beneficial if you need a little bit more help. Now, on the right-hand side, above our terrain mode select, we have our media controls. So handy to have these steering wheel controls. We've got volume here, our phone button, and a programmable favorites button. The programmable favorites button can be set to just about anything. I used to have mine as end call because, as you can see, there's no end call button anymore. Hang up feels way more dramatic than, waiting for them to hang up. And then mode will cycle between your multiple media modes. So whether that's AM, FM, Sirius, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, whatever you have set as your preferred methods, this will be your cycle button. The talk button or the voice command button can either be Kia's in-house voice command or your phone's, depending on how you press it. So if your phone is connected, you can use your Siri, you can use your Google Assistant, which if I'm being completely honest, you guys, I do work at a Kia dealership, but Siri is far more intuitive. Far more intuitive. Now for our main display over here, this is a 12.3-inch screen, full touchscreen as well, has integrated navigation, and the screen itself is very user-friendly. Kind of mimics the controls of your smartphone where you drag and drop to relocate icons, and you have a top-down or drop-down menu for quick controls like the brightness adjustment or if you want to mute something. It's very handy. They thought of everything here. The main highlight though, especially for this year compared to the last gen, which was pre-facelift, we now have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as over-the-air updates. So if you are someone who's tech savvy and you absolutely hated having to bring a cord in your phone every time you wanted connection, it's wireless now, and we still have a wireless phone charger too, so you can have a truly wireless experience. If you want to go in and play around with your car more, fine-tune it to make it truly your style, under the vehicle menu, you can adjust all of the safety settings, even change things like your climate functions, your seat functions, and more. Now, how can you change the seat? I thought all the controls were on the side. Well, because there's memory seats on this car, you can make a couple other fine changes, like easy access. This essentially means when you turn the car off, it'll move the seat back a little bit to make it easier to get in and out of the car. Same thing with you open the vehicle for the first time, puts the seat in a reclined position, not full reclined, but an easier to access way. So we're getting a little in-depth today, a little sneak peek at some of the hidden features on the car. Now let's move over to the rest of what we have equipped. So for our air vents, we have that horizontal styling that spans across the dash, finished with metal accents. So there's styling here. It's not just a bunch of cheap plastic. It's not a boring interior. It is very, very stylish. The center will have our hazard button. And then this is what a lot of people seem to get confused about. It does your media, does exactly as it says. If I press home, it jumps me to my home screen. If I press map, it'll open up my map. But it also does our climate control. So it's flippable. This is the climate screen. You can set your temp, and because it's dual zone, your passenger can separate theirs or sync it up. You can use either the automated climate function, which you set it to your preferred temperature and it keeps it there with different intensity levels, or you can of course do it manually, whatever your preference is. I'm going to turn this off for now and flip it back. So this again is a learning curve, but if you do own this vehicle after driving it for a few weeks, you definitely get the hang of it. Just at first, it seems rather crazy. Let me know what you guys think about the flippable climate cluster, or if you'd rather have everything separated. Underneath, we have two USB-Cs, the one on the left being for data, connectivity, and charging, and the one on the right simply for charging. And then this elevated pad here is our wireless phone charger. It's meant to not overheat your phone and still provide you with a decent charge. Of course, wirelessly charging your phone will always be a little bit slower than plugging it in, so it's great that we still have so many USB-C ports if that's our preference. Gear shift is a regular lever style, which I absolutely love, and then our push to start ignition is right above it. The entire usage of the center console material, we've moved away from piano black, upgrades you guys. So this gunmetal finish, it's not a fingerprint magnet like our previous piano black. Sorry, our exterior lights just went off. But now, as you can see, it still gives that premium look, but without the fingerprints and without the scratch proneness. I think I like this way, way more. Heated seats and ventilated seats, with the left-hand side being the driver and the right the passenger, and then our 2-level heated steering wheel. I do like having those buttons controls instead of screens. Some cars make it that if you want to turn on your seat functions, you got to go through a menu on the screen or a screen-style button. This is helpful in Canada when you're wearing gloves when you first hop into the car. Lets you still use all the buttons. It's not a screen. All right, and then below that, we have a few more real buttons. Downhill braking assist, our auto hold brake function, as well as a button to summon your camera, and then our idle stop and go, as well as our parking sensors. I'll show you guys what our camera looks like. Now, the EX Premium only has the rear view camera. It's a very high quality cam, and there is a wide view as well too. So if you're parked and you just want to see what's happening around you, you can play around with this. If you're someone who plans on towing with this vehicle, it has a 2,500 pound, 2,500, that is actually the number I was looking for, not 250,000, 2,500 pound towing capacity, and this camera is quite helpful when you are backing up towards your trailer, or even if you have a little bit of less space in your garage, helps you see exactly how close you are to what could be behind you. Okie dokie. Now let's talk about what is above me. Massive sunroof. So panoramic sunroof expands all the way to the rear, so your back passengers have a good look at what's happening above you. And the glass itself opens up to about here. Let's see. Ooh, how did I know that? This is only my job. You do also have the ability to tip it, so if you don't want too much airflow coming in, but you still want some fresh air and some sunlight, you can tilt it instead, or just have the glass pane fully closed with the cover open. Cover is powered because that would be a nightmare having to reach back and pull it out. But yeah, that is our power sunroof. I'm just going to stop it there. We have interior LED lights, almost like a spotlight. Not too impressive on camera during the day, but at nighttime they do a great job at illuminating the space. If you drop a French fry, you will find it, unless it's under the seat. Then good luck. The mirror here is an ECM mirror, so auto dimming, and you have integrated home link as well. I'll have Adam show the glove box, and then when he hops out, he'll show the passenger seat controls as well. And then we'll point out the glove box space. So our glove box is illuminated. We've got our owner's manuals there, French and English, because we're in Canada, baby. And then for our passenger seat, as you can see, it is powered. Your powered passenger starts on this trim level. So let me just highlight a few things that are only available or only start on the EX Premium. Number one is the memory seat control. Number two, the power passenger seat. And also the seating design, with the upper seat back being suede. That is an EX Premium add-on or addition. There's a few other things like the ventilated front seats too. Those exterior styling elements that I pointed out, so the nice satin chrome finishes with the nice 19-inch alloy wheels and Michelin tires. All right, I'm gonna stop saying nice and I'm gonna get my butt into the rear seats. Now here's the mistake we made earlier of not moving the passenger seat up enough, but we'll bring the rear seats back. Now, as I have it set up right now, our rear seats, you can see that there's multiple different levels of recline for them. So this 60 portion of the 60-40 split is fully upright, and my seat is slightly reclined. Now I can move it back further if I'd like. This is the max amount. Didn't see you there. Lots of headroom on the Kia Sportage, of course, especially if your seat's fully reclined. If I move it upright all the way, this is, oh, my hair clip. This is what we're looking at for space. I'm actually going to take this off. All right, tons of headroom. I know this is a very official measurement, you guys. For our legroom, lots of room. There is space underneath the seat to put your feet. And then the backings of both the driver and passenger seats are a leather pocket. Leather pockets are definitely my preference. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of cars use a net style instead. So let's say you're leaving a tablet or something in the vehicle, it's kind of visible if someone really looks through the window. So this offers a little bit more privacy, which I do like. This little thing in here, this divot, looks a little strange, but here's what it's used for. We notice a little USB-C right over here. You can wrap the cord around here and have your device charging in the pocket. So it is a cord wrap around, or maybe you want to use it to hang something else, hair ties. Could be whatever you want, but it's integrated into the seat, which is quite nice. You don't have to purchase those extra accessories. Speaking of accessories, the backings of your headrest also double as a hook. Now this is more so meant for bags or jackets to keep things off of the floor so your rear passengers have more space. But the fact that it's integrated in helps you. Think of it as an investment. Instead of buying those little clips from Amazon, you can just buy a $41,000 SUV that already has it integrated in. You're saving money in a way. The backing of the center console, you'll have your air vents, your rear air vents, and of course the climate control is dictated by whoever is up at the front and set it. So there's no adjustment here as far as temperature goes, but you can change the fan direction and if they're open or closed. The bottom has a small little pocket. And then our very middle seat drops down for an armrest or a cup holder. Some people say, oh, it's broken. No, you can just adjust it. If you want it to be more upright, there's that as well. Hello. Okay, the 2 main seats will also be heated. That starts on the EX Premium trim level. And just like what we had up at the front, these seat backs will also have that suede insert for the 2 main seats. And then we have the same door materials. So that gunmetal finish with the satin chrome handle, and then your heated seat controls right above your window. The door cards also have a good amount of soft touch material or padding for the armrest. So Adam, I don't know if you want to point at it, or the camera works too. So everything just feels quite nice. There's a lot of attention to detail in this vehicle, and a lot of the times, I'm not going to name any brand names, but you hop into a car and it just feels cheap. Unless it's their super luxury model, there's plastic everywhere, it doesn't feel good. The materials themselves literally don't feel good on some cars. This is not that kind of car. It feels very, very nice. Now, when they redesigned the Kia Sportage in 2023, that's when things changed for Kia big time, at least for this car line. Because the previous gen Sportage, unless you got the SX model, everything was plastic. Seriously, everything. So huge upgrades to the Kia Sportage trim line. In 2026, when they refreshed it or gave it a facelift, that only made it better. So a lot of the major changes was actually what we have for our infotainment display. I showed you guys that earlier, but that whole new software interface is brand new for our car lines, and it offers so much. Again, that wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, a far more user-friendly technology too. So I'm happy they made these changes. They also added those things like power folding mirrors and a lot. Seriously, there's a lot that they changed to make this car even more Canada's favorite SUV. I'm going to take the camera from Adam and answer some questions. And a fun fact about the Sportage, it's actually Kia's longest running nameplate in Canada. We've had the Sportage for many, many generations. It was the first real Kia we had here, and it's still around, and it's not going anywhere. They're only adding to the Sportage family, like I said, and now offers a plug-in hybrid or hybrid powertrain on top of the straight gas. So it is by far our most successful car line. Let's see, what else? Jatin said, if the controls are there, you can control it, and if you have only the AC vents, then you can't. Yes, sorry. So for your rear climate, you can only adjust again the intensity of the fan, so you can open or close the vents, and then of course you can maneuver them. If you want to position them more towards the right or the left, you can manually change them. Yeah, so that's why we started this video a little bit later. I just found out someone hacked my credit card and ordered $300 worth of things from Walmart. So that's a little bit of a problem. Let me know if you guys have ever been hacked. Gabi, I see the 3 little buttons for the rear view mirror, or on the rear view mirror. What are those for? So those are the HomeLink buttons, and HomeLink is essentially a garage door opener integrated into the mirror. So you can connect or sync your vehicle's buttons to your garage door opener. That way you don't have to get the clip-on ones that go on your visors. It's just a little bit more integrated into the vehicle. Just remember that if you have HomeLink in your vehicle and you go to sell or trade in your car, that you unlink it, or else someone can open your garage. Now, they might not know where you live, so that's a good thing, but let's see. Question from a previous Q&A. Will the tire size, which is 235, 55 R19s, as used on this vehicle, fit on the EX Premium trim of the hybrid Sportage, where the standard size is 3560 R18s? So, sorry, I'm just going to adjust my brightness on the phone because it is so dark I can't see anything. There we go. As far as the aspect ratio or the sidewall height, that being a difference shouldn't make any sort of change because we actually have a lower sidewall on this specific vehicle. So it's still going to clear, it's not going to rub because it's smaller. The only thing I'm worried about, and I'm sure it's not an issue, but I do want to clarify with our parts department before I give a straight answer. Sometimes when we try to put wheels from a regular gas car onto a hybrid or plug-in hybrid, the issue is the brake clearance because, of course, you've got different braking systems. I don't know if it'll be as bad as when we do it to full EV, but I do want to clear that with Connor before I give you a straight answer. Again, I don't see it being an issue, but I will confirm that and leave it in the actual comments once this video is done. How many kilometers, or for us miles, how does this car handle by average? I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean on a full tank of fuel? For a full tank, you get just over 550 kilometers, and that is by default. So that's what we see here exactly at the dealership before the car actually has its life, you know what I mean? That being said, if you are someone who drives highway every single day, and it's very, very rare that you're in stop and go traffic or any sort of real inefficient driving, you can see it do much better. But 550 is usually the rough range we see when we do a full tank on the brand new car. Mazerborn said, I've not seen Connor in a while. Adam, do you want to run to parts and see Connor? Yeah, okay. We'll put him on the spot. He may not know it off the top of his head, but we're going to test that. We're going to test that theory. MJ said, Gabi, is the piano black replacement material scratch-free in the gear area? So it definitely comes from the dealership scratch-free, at least I hope it does, but it's certainly more scratch-resistant than what piano black was. If you guys have a vehicle with piano black in it and you've driven it, even if you don't have kids or anything, you'll notice tiny micro scratches in it, which gets so annoying because you could take the best care of your car and still get those tiny scratches just from, you know, throwing your bag into the vehicle or maybe dropping your keys over there once. It's difficult. It is very, very difficult to keep it looking pristine. So this material, it is far more durable. Oh, another thing people don't think about. This was actually something that happened to me in my Forte. I frequently wear rings on my fingers. And sometimes if the jewel heads downwards and I go to grab my gear shift or my steering wheel, you can scratch it up a little bit. So be wary of that. We got asked what the color of the vehicle is. This specific paint color is called Gravity Gray. It is the darkest gray we have in our Sportage lineup, and it has a metallic finish, so a lot of beautiful sparkle in the paint. Hey Gabi, is it okay to move to your dealership for periodic car maintenance after some time with another dealer? Absolutely. I will say, it's always nice to be loyal to a certain dealership, but if they're not treating you right or you're just not happy with their service, you can absolutely go to another dealership. You can service anywhere realistically. Just always make sure you keep records of your services. Connor, the people missed you.
That's what I was told, but it was actually for parts questions.
Yes, so although the people miss you, we also have a question for you. Okay. I said most likely, but I wanted to confirm with the expert. So let's see if I can pull it up. The question was, if the wheel setup from the gasoline Sportage we have here today, which is a 255 55 R19 would fit on a Sportage hybrid EX Premium, which has, again, same width, slightly taller sidewall, and same alloy size.
I mean, everything should fit. As long as the brake calipers aren't bigger, which I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I don't know off the top of my head.
We said we're going to put you on the spot to see how much you really know.
I don't think they're bigger calipers because of the hybrid.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
I would imagine not drastic.
I wouldn't think so.
No.
No, I don't think so because with our winter tires, we use the same tire setups on hybrids as we would on gas Sportages, so
I guess really the only, mind you, there's no EV version of the Sportage right now, but if it was a full electric, then it might be a problem.
Yeah.
Because then we'll have a fairly different brake. Okay. I don't know if there's any other questions that might be good for you to answer, Connor. Let's see if I can find one. I'm just going to put you on the spot. Connor's the new Gabi.
Not if I have to do speaking. I don't know, did everyone check out Gabi speak? I guess it wasn't actually
it's not online.
Never mind. He had to be there.
My kid would be drawing on the suede with their fingernails. Oh no.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
For this model year, they put upper seat backs as a suede insert, which looks really good. But
I've only ever seen it on the headliners of like the Tellurides.
Yeah. But even like, so we've seen suede inserts on some of our more sporty trim levels. Usually they're on the bolster portion of the seat and not necessarily the seat insert, which again is a good thing because suede, I feel like it wears in a little bit. So after you own the car for a while, you'll start to get a butt print of of your butt on the seat. So obviously, I hope your butt's not up here on the car.
I don't know what you're doing back here, but
Exactly. But this is far more indent resistant. What is your favorite car? I'm gonna have you answer that.
What is my favorite car?
Mhm.
Mazda Miata, hands down.
You know what Miata
Well,
stands for, right?
I've never actually driven a Turbo S, 911 Turbo S, but I
Ooh.
would say that would be very nice as well, just seeing them on the road.
They're beautiful cars.
But I have a little windy back road route that I have, and I drove it in my Civic yesterday. Made me want to sell the car. 'Cause it didn't handle as well as the Miata.
It's not the same as the Miata.
It's not.
TRD RAV4 has the answer. Miata is
It's
always the answer.
I mean, for cheap fun, I would say Miata. You know,
Mhm.
that's my favorite car.
Now, do you have a dream car? Please don't say Miata. Connor,
No.
you gotta dream bigger.
It would be nice to have a 911, but I mean, the price of them. You have a $300,000 car. I can't afford a house, let alone a car that costs the same amount as the house.
You know how the saying
So.
goes, though.
Oh yeah, you can't race a house, but you can sleep in the car.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or you can't. Oh, you can't drive a house, but you can live in your car.
Yeah, something like that. Either way.
Connor, where can we get a jacket like yours? Yeah, I'm dying to know because I
This
don't have
one,
that.
Even the employees asked. Pat actually got this from a Kia Canada meeting, so this is exclusive.
It's one of
Gotta
them
be
fancy
higher
ones.
up to get one of these.
Are you ready for Halloween, Connor?
Halloween, yes. However, my girlfriend's birthday is in a month, and I gotta think of something quick. Because if I'm not planned, she's gonna kill me.
Oh my god.
I don't think she watches these videos to the end, so we're good.
Can I change to winter tires in the dealership too? Absolutely.
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we can set up winter tires for you.
I'd recommend getting them on when it gets below 7 degrees, which we're kind of at now. And we also have a promo. If you get your tires on before the 31st of October, you get free storage.
Ooh.
Yeah.
In New York, we had Mustangs, the Plymouth Belvedere, and the Chevrolet station wagon that my father drove. In California, the first car was a Renault. Ooh. I've never driven a Renault or a Plymouth, for that matter. I would love a Cuda, Plymouth Barracuda. It's a sweet car, very sweet car. There are a lot of cars I want.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Unfortunately, I don't have money, especially now that my bank's been hacked.
No way.
Yo, seriously, I just found out.
No.
Yeah. So that's really awesome and fun. Now we are at 42 minutes, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And again, this was a live stream car review. If you're impressed that our Wi-Fi held up till the very end for 42 minutes, please leave a like if you haven't already. And check out our channel. We do live videos every single weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time where we talk about a whole car. Literally a whole car.
Inside and out.
Anything you want to add?
No, not really. Have a great weekend and yeah, keep on keeping on.
See you next time. Bye-bye, guys.